welcome to Satsang. So, one of the big problems with raising your consciousness levels is you have to heal the wounds of your heart. And everybody is wounded as a result of the way we've been brought up. Most of us have somewhere hidden deep inside abandonment wounding, betrayal wounding, injustice wounding. And when you come into satsang and you get close to a Buddha field, it gets released. The coping mechanisms that hold it down don't hold. They slowly erode and what's inside comes out. And it can come out very rapidly, and then the mind tries to deal with it by creating a story that usually involves running away somehow, avoidance somehow, because the mind is programmed to avoid discomfort and to chase comfort. But if you run away, you don't heal the wounds of your heart and you save it for another day. One of the things that I do is I don't spend too much time with any individual, because when I do, it opens them up and everything inside of them starts to come up pretty rapidly, because the Buddha field that is carried here does that. It opens people up. And so I deliberately don't allow people too close for very long, because most people can't handle their own pain body. And that might sound funny, but it's true. People think they're heroes, but when it comes to handling your own pain body, particularly around low self-worth, which is so yucky it's not funny, a lot of people will run. And to go to higher consciousness, you have to heal the wounds of your heart. You can't be a wounded bunny. People who are wounded are constantly avoiding this person, that subject, that place, because they don't want to be triggered. And they play a life of dodge. Let's avoid what's inside ourselves. Unfortunately, people who do that cannot raise their consciousness levels and they cannot wake up. You have to be willing to face what is inside of you. If you're not willing to face what's inside of you, you can't play the game. And one of the things that surprised me the most about training in psychotherapy was the number of psychologists and social workers and counsellors who were really, really wounded people who were on the run from what was inside of themselves. And these people were setting themselves up as healers. What a joke. Someone who runs away from what's inside of themselves isn't going to be able to hold someone else while they're going through their pain. Not possible. They'll find a way to let them off. They'll find a way to support their escape methodology. It's important, if you're in the healing business, to heal yourself. More important than anything you learn at university or in some course. Wounded counsellors don't help people, they hurt them. That might sound very strong, unfortunately it's true. It is important and imperative that if you're going for higher consciousness, you heal the wounds of your heart. And if you get close to someone like me, it is going to come up rapidly, and if you run away, you're doing yourself a disservice. And my experience over the last 22 years is most people run. They see themselves as heroes, but the truth is they're too gutless to face their own stuff. You have to have the courage to be okay with what appears inside of you. And people say, well, I have the courage. Yeah, well, you might have the courage while you're feeling strong, but when your stuff's coming up, you don't feel strong, you feel weak. And you've got to be able to be strong when you feel weak. You've got to be okay with it. As a matter of fact, you've got to be warmly okay with whatever appears inside of you, otherwise you cannot heal it. You'll find a way to repress it again and remain a wounded bunny, running away from what's inside of yourself like every other human being for the rest of your life. It's up to you. The ball is really in your court. Are you willing to heal the wounds of your heart, or are you too gutless to? And it comes down to that. That might sound harsh, but it's true. And what's inside of you may be awful, because it may have lobbed there over a lifetime or more than one lifetime. The reason that in our organisation we don't really allow drugs or alcohol or smoking cigarettes is very simple. They're escape methodologies that stop people from healing the wounds of their heart. There's no point pretending that you're into higher consciousness if you're not willing to heal the wounds of your heart. There's just no point. You're going to spend your whole life running away from what's inside of you. And if you get close to me, it's going to come up rapidly. That's what happens. So lots of people avoid me. And I understand why. They don't want to feel their stuff. Fair enough. But if you're truly into higher consciousness, you've got to face it. And the fastest way to heal the wounds of your heart is to be in satsang, and as close as you possibly can. Because everything comes up. As it did for me. The terrible thing that happens with people who are feeling the wounds of their heart, their pain coming up, the discomfort of what's inside of them, is their mind makes up stories that justify their escapism. And the stories seem very reasonable because the mind is very, very creative. But they're all bullshit. It's up to you. The most common methodology, besides drugs, alcohol and cigarettes, of getting away from what's inside of yourself is duaholism, throwing yourself into something, creating work for yourself, mental work or physical work. It's a fast way to escape. And it justifies itself by saying, I'm working, I'm getting this done, I'm getting that done. Yeah, you're avoiding what's inside of yourself, that's what you're doing. Have a look and see. Have a look and see. Are you honest enough with yourself to own up? Because if you want to play this game of higher consciousness with me, you need to be willing to meet what's inside of yourself with a warm okayness. Otherwise you cannot play. You have ruled yourself out of the game.